So I have this idea of a new prison system that will benefit the people that are outside the prison. So it's a tiered system. It's one, two, three tiers, right? So I'll explain. Tier one is for like the low tier crimes, like the petty theft and like fraudsters, so something like that, you know. So basically, what they will do is a judge will look at him and say, I sentence you to donate 100 units of blood and 2,000 hours of community service. And you can do as many hours a day as you want, but you're not getting out until you've done everything. So, how fast they get out depends on how much they want it. So, in the US alone, around 13,000 units of blood is needed. And people die every day because people don't donate. Very little people that are eligible to donate actually donate. You know, it's a very good idea. So only 10% of eligible people actually donate, according to the studies. You know, and I'll continue. So this is like, and community service. Actually, studies show that around 30%, the reoffending rate go on down to 30% by people who actually give back, by people who do community service. So instead of wasting money keeping them up, you know, you're saving lives, and you know, get some charity or get some community service. Now moving on to tier 2. This one's a bit harder than tier 1. I need to find my breakdown of it here. It's a lot, so stay with me. Tier 2 is more like darker. It's for people who assault people, grand theft, like they steal thousands of dollars or like really expensive cars. They're robbing and stuff like that. This is for tier 2. So basically, you get sent to the coal mine or hard manual labor 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is like, now we're getting paid by them and they're not getting anything because they are the criminals. They serve me and you know, to like pay back for what they have done. So in the US alone, there's 1.2 million violent offenders in prisons right now. So if you put every single one of them to work 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's 126 hours per week of labor per person. And since they're not getting paid, we're getting everything from their work. Now let's break it down. 126 hours, and say their value is around $30 an hour. That's how much value they would generate. It's probably a lot more, but let's go with that on the low end. That's $3,780 per week per person. That times 52 weeks, we can make it 55, but let's go on the low end, make it 52 weeks. That's $196,560 per year per person. Since there's 1.2 million violent offenders, that makes it 236 billion, the B, billion dollars. Now let's break down, what can we buy with $236 billion? That's around 2,948 F-35s that cost $80 million each, the best fighter jet in the world. Imagine having almost 3,000 of them every single year. Or how many Abrams tank? If each Abrams tanks costs $6 million, with that money you can buy 39,317 Abrams tanks. So after 3 years, you have 120,000 main battle tanks. Think about that. Why are we wasting so many? And if you wanna not have tanks or planes, you can build schools, for example. If one school costs $30 million, that's 7,863 schools you can build a year with this system. You know? So, quick side note, to hold every single prisoner in the US system, America spends $80 billion a year. So instead of losing $80 billion a year, we could be making $236 billion a year. Why aren't we doing that? That's so much better. Now, moving on to tier 3. This one's a bit harder. So let me pick it up here. I wrote a script on this one as well. So, tier 3 is like for the murderers, the kidnappers, the child abusers, things like that. Things that no one likes. So, there are a few options based on the severity. One option is organ harvesting. So I need to search up how many die due to lack of organ donors a year. Around 17 people die every day waiting for an organ. And if you harvest the entire body of one inmate, you can save 8 lives. So there's a lot of lives to be saved here. So number 1 is organ harvesting. We can harvest their organs, and that's pretty much it. Any part that's excess can just be donated to science, and we are bettering the future. Another one would be like you're running trials on this guy. Say he's a serial murderer, serial rapist, whatever, and we run like Nazi era experiments on him, like we need to test this new cancer drug, test it on him. We need to test this very unethical human experiment that we don't have volunteers for because nobody's saying yes to that. Test it on this man. Things like that, like hypothermia tests that they used to do back in the Nazi times. You know, like how the Japanese used to like inject bubonic plague on Chinese children. Things like that, but like they would be useful because we would see like, oh, this cancer drug works, this one doesn't, we need to test this new medicine, this works, this doesn't, etc, etc. It's all data, you know. Another option would be, instead of harvesting the guy, killing him, torturing him for science, we could put him in a movie, say like James Bond, and like J. Bond comes out, shoots the guy, and it's like no CGI, the guy's getting killed for real, you know? And then we have an authentic movie experience without any CGI. Think about that. Or we can have like the gladiators time. You have the guys fight each other with like swords, shoot each other. It will be like entertainment, like movie theater, but it's like more primal, you know. Back in the day in Roman times they used to have that. Anyways, let me know what you would think. Also, side note, actually no side note, let me know if you agree with this. What would you do differently? I'm all ears.